Toastmasters. As a software developer, I always used to see design documents. And typical design documents used to have a lot of servers, switches, routers, and maybe some firewalls. And then slowly I started seeing a small cloud in those diagrams. I was okay because I still understood most part of the design documents, leaving alone the small cloud. A typical network diagram used to look like this. Is that clear? So I was okay with this small cloud here as long as I understood this network, these servers, how they communicate to each other, how the traffic comes in. I was okay because I just have to don't worry about the small cloud. But suddenly these cloud started growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And it now something looks like this. And I don't know anything about it. It's just clouds. It's just a big cloud. So, and they are calling it as cloud computing. Did you ever stop and think, why are they calling it as a cloud computing? The cloud computing actually harkens back to the early network designs, when system or network engineers used to design a network which were supposed to work. And they used to design a document how each network equipment used to connect and get, sorry, I missed the point here. So they used to illustrate how these equipments were connected and how were they controlled and managed. And as part of this design, they were supposed to describe the whole network. And that's how we used to understand how the network works. But then there were some networks which were hooked to a different networks. And network engineers needed a way to illustrate these networks. They wanted to display these networks in their network diagrams without describing them, because what goes into those remote networks was out of their expertise. So they basically came up with a symbol of a cloud for unknown domains. So now we know how this small cloud came into picture. How is good, but then still it didn't answer my question, why? Why cloud computing? Why not a toilet bowl? We don't know how it works. We know push a button, it cleans out, flushes out your waste. So we don't know how it works. We don't know mechanics of that toilet bowl. Why not just use toilet bowl picture instead of cloud computing? I think cloud is very opaque. What goes within them is not seen. And the path of these clouds are not set. How packets are moved around on the internet? Any idea, Murali? The answer is it's cloudy. We just know the packet arrives to the destination. We don't know how. So the network engineers started using cloud to basically use themselves as a notation. And actually cloud started representing for unknown networks. So now we know why they started using cloud as part of the network design. So in short, I have my own abbreviation, which is SOBOI, which is solution out of box over the internet. So next time if somebody asks you what is cloud computing, tell them it's solution out of box over the internet. And this cloud computing comes into 3 different service models. You have a cloud software as a service. You have a cloud platform as a service. You have a cloud infrastructure as a service. So as part of the cloud software as a service, we use providers' software out of box. We don't worry about developing a software. We don't worry about the servers. We don't worry about the infrastructure. Something we do these days very often, like using Google, what is that? Google Documents, right? And Gmail. We use very often these days. And a lot of small companies started using them. And then came in cloud platform as a service. Here, the companies just have to worry about developing a software or the system and deploy them on a provider's network, which is hooked up to this big cloud. And the third one was cloud as an infrastructure. This is something where you go and rent a place within the data center and hook your servers loaded with your applications. And those data centers are actually hooked up to the big cloud. And by the way, Verizon is very big time on the infrastructure as a service. They have more than 200 data centers across the US. And then these cloud computing also has a 3 different types or flavors of our deployment models. It has a private cloud, it has a community cloud, it has a public cloud, and then there is a hybrid cloud. I would love to talk about it more, but since we have only 5 minutes, I'd want to conclude this. Catherine, somebody asks you what is cloud computing, what would you say?
I would say exactly what you talked about today.
So, solution out of the box over the internet. Thank you, Mr. Toastmasters.